Welcome to Tran Plays Age of Undead. There is a campaign mode and we will definitely check that out, but I want to show you the main parts of the game first and all the information you might need to know. A support role is less than a full player. However, in the campaign, you may not always have a presence on the battlefield, and you might only have available to you being a support role. I will show you first-person support first. Remember that as it's less than a full player, this will actually be a 2 versus 3. And I can disable the enemy. I can even change it to somebody else. In this game, there are military force. You can think of them as Protoss. Infected, you can think of them as Zerg. And survivors, you can think of them as Tran. You can also adjust how many defensive buildings you can have or how many units you can have. I would suggest leaving this at max. You can adjust how many maximum number of units divided among all the players. So if there are 3 players, then there would be 400 each. Even though my NVIDIA card or NVIDIA overlay tells me that I have a 50% GPU usage at high unit counts, it still runs pretty choppy. I wouldn't necessarily put stuff because it's like 40% at the beginning of the game, 50% when there's lots of units, so it's not using my graphics card. Something else is going on there. We'll leave all the rest of this alone. Actually, we'll disable weather event because it'll just make it hard for you to see. And I think that's about it. We can change AI, so I would say aggressive and skirmisher, just to switch things up. And we'll go and start the battle. We're going to sit together for 1 minute. What I mean by this is, it says, do you want to sit in the first few minutes of the battle? Speed up the first few minutes of the battle. During this phase, you won't be to perform any action. We'll hit yes. Then we immediately move up to 6 times speed. Now this looks great as an icon, except during normal gameplay, you cannot go above 1.0. You can go from 0.10 to 1.0. That's it. This is our clock when it gets to the blue, and those were settings that we could have changed earlier, how much of it is night and how bad night can be. But this is our clock, and when it gets to the blue, these zombies will get stronger, human vision will go down. This would be our settings, main menu, exit the desktop. And this will be our objective, which is just supremacy in this case. And here we can pause the game, but we can't issue building commands, such as construct a house. There's 4 resources that a military force can have. Infected and survivors have different resources. So fuel, chemicals, scrap, and food. Over here we have 0 current population, 20 at our maximum housing, and 7 is our limit hard-coded by the game. Alright, that was a loud tank. We have support helicopter, UAV, strategic bomber, and gunship. All of these are various options the military force has in their support role, which is this counter right here. If we were a human player, we would have resources accumulating in these, and we could spend them to cast spells, essentially. Let's go ahead and cast a UAV, and we'll just target here. So I can use Q and E to rotate which direction my UAV will go in. I'm now flying. You can see on this panel right here, this is my plane. And I can aim separately from the way my plane is going. I can press A and D to give it some slight orientation, but it will by and large attempt to anchor itself to this point here. Now note that I can only see zombies at the edge of this field of view. This is the ground unit's field of view. Even if I were to go past this fog, I would not be able to see anything. The point of the first person's perspective, though, is not for recon. The point is that you get to shoot down zombies. I'm going to left click once, and I can hold right mouse button as long as I want to aim a laser, and it'll point the missile to where I was aiming. And it's unfortunate. There it is. Okay. So it just went to night, and you can see that field of view went down. And our plane is automatically moving. I don't even have my hand on the mouse right now. I'm not going to try to fight it. I have found that it's just best to let the plane reorient itself as necessary and then try aiming. Because otherwise you're just fighting the plane for no real reason. Unfortunately, you can't see a thing. That's one of the bad parts about night. But I mean, it stands to reason. That's my wingtip there. There's the fight. So let's go and fire another missile, and this time let's aim the laser, like say here. We can see that's lighting up the trees, which is kind of cool. And that's what the UAV would do. That's the only weapon it has. Let's go and evacuate that. We don't care about it. We're going to now try support helicopter. Fortunately, we still can't see anything at being night, but let's just go ahead and just start firing just because. I wouldn't bother firing bullets because it's near impossible to hit anything. Alright, watch me try to shoot, say, this bush. You see how the bullets are spraying everywhere? That bush is fairly large compared to a zombie. Like, that's not a bush, that's a tree. And it's, we'll say, 60 times larger than a zombie. And I still couldn't hit it. You want to use maybe the grenade launcher. So we can switch guns with 1 and 2 in this case. In some vehicles, there's a 3. Turn a little more. Never mind. I'm just going to shoot at the ground. So unfortunately, we can't see too much because given that it's night. So let's talk more about some of the other stuff here. The strategic bomber has 3 different types of weapons that you can use. There's many different status effects. But I would generally ignore any vehicle that has a gun, such as rotary machine gun. It's almost daybreak. And it's really, really choppy right now. Did I leave it at 1200? Maybe. Unfortunately, I don't believe there's a reload function that you can manually do. You just have to expend all of the ammo in your current allocation, and then it will spend time reloading. Okay, now this daytime will expand our vision by double. You can see here that if we hover over this, it'll say modifier per troop 50% vision at night. No, that's not a zombie. That's a that over there is a zombie. Unfortunately, this is as far as I can turn the camera in the helicopter. But yeah, that's the first-person perspective. There are no ground troops you can be. Everything is an aircraft, such as a strategic bomber. What I would suggest if you did play this game, which is $20 by the way, and it's incomplete. The developer of this game is the same one from Mercenaries of the Kingdom First Blood. But if you were to play this game, I would suggest trying to fire when the wingtip is at your target. So let's say that we want to hit like that as our zombie. I'll wait and then I'll press now, and so the bombs will start dropping. And you can see that the bomb pretty much landed parallel to where the purple zombie was that I was aiming at. So I can switch between all my bombs. I can fire up many of them at once. And we can start ransacking their housing units or whatever's in our area. Good destruction, right? Unfortunately, the RTS aspect is very, very lacking. I know I didn't show off every vehicle there. That's okay. I'm giving you an overview of the game. We're not going to review every unit or anything because there's a lot of units. There are so many units. I just wish the developer spent time working on the actual RTS part. We're going to turn on sandbox mode again and then start the battle. In addition to the first-person support role, there's a technical support role and a air support role. Air support role, you literally get 2 airstrips, and that's your whole game. Literally, that's it. So that's why I said that they are deliberately inferior. They're not equivalent to being an actual base. If I built these, I would be just as efficient as an air support player. Build a couple more engineers. Oh, they're called sappers in this game, but I think of them as engineers. Satellite ground station. That'll give me points towards this and allow me to cast these spells. Since I'm in sandbox mode, I have infinite of these resources. I'm just showing you. I'm not here to try to win the game or anything. I'm just showing you all the stuff. You don't really need to sit here while I mine all the resources. So while he builds that, let's talk more about air support. These structures work kind of like... If you've ever played Civilization 6, they're kind of like those units. They're not an actual unit you get to move around and stand here and stuff. So let's go ahead and summon a fighter. It's instant, even without sandbox mode, and just tell him to take off. What he's going to do is he's going to orbit wherever the rally point of the flag of the airport is, and that flag is right here. So he's going to kind of just orbit this area. I can, however, tell him to orbit somewhere else. I can even tell him to attack something else. This command here is artillery and bomber attacks. So if I were to build something like a strategic bomber, I can then tell it to attack a certain ground. There is no friendly fire, so I can bomb my own units and allied units with impunity. As you can see, there's so many different types of planes just for this one faction alone. And this is just the airstrip. We still have things like a helipad, artillery factory, vehicle factory, barracks. So with this is our support control. Again, this is one of the support roles I could have started as instead of being a player. So just by building this, I'm now equivalent to one of those players. You can have UAV, which will just add line of sight, but this line of sight does not count towards any of these other abilities. In fact, the UAV also needs your own personal line of sight. For example, I can see this right now, but I can't bomb it. Tactical supports can only be deployed in areas where the player can see. So I can't actually bomb anything right now. I can't artillery shell the enemy HQ. Speaking of which, you can see I can actually select the building. I can even, if I want to, I can even hear them building something right now. As far as Fog of War is concerned, we can see that we have spotted enemy buildings, but as soon as it leaves, the buildings disappear. There's no indication that the building was ever there. In most RTS, you get some sort of shadow, grayscaled version of the building to indicate like, hey, you saw this building once. Nothing like that in this. There's no attack move, so let's build a couple ground troops. Well, here's a machine gunner. We can have different AI and all of it sucks. It says aggressive units prioritize combat at the cost of ignoring player commands, will always pursue enemies. Balance sometimes ignores enemies and will always pursue enemies. Defensive, hold position and only attack when enemies are in range. There's no attack move. You just click and hope that they do what you want them to do. Even if I were to leave them on aggressive and say click the enemy base, if they see zombies, there's no guarantee they're even going to open fire. Even if the zombies are punching them, there's no guarantee they're going to even try. Even the AI has that same problem sometimes. AI will have their tanks get smacked by zombies, and the tank does absolutely nothing for a good 15 seconds or so. And then it's like, oh, I'm getting attacked. Let me do something about this. But yes, there are tons of units. We have transport helicopters, supply helicopters. Even as far as vehicles go, we have transport trucks, supply trucks. We have attack helicopters, light helicopters, anti-tank helicopters. We have howitzers, self-propelled howitzers, rocket artillery, which fires 3 times your normal view range. Every unit pretty much has a range of 100, except for helicopters, which have a range of 30. So this thing can fire 3 times what you can see. That's really good. These are good. Get these. Mortars can be built in both the artillery factory and the barracks. Sappers can be built in the barracks as well as the headquarters, sappers being our building unit. Riflemen also can be built in both of these structures. They're the cheapest unit you can have. So we have tons of units. I can't see very much use in the anti-riot as far as the game's AI system is concerned. They're not going to be necessarily tanking any damage. They're just going to be running amok on the battlefield and probably achieve nothing. Yeah, we have tons of units in this game, and that's just one faction. It all surface level, good ideas, good concept, awful execution. I hope that they continue to work on the game and really bring it to life, but I think people have been asking for an attack move for about a year now and nothing's been said about it. And I think one of the reviews or Steam comments had said because the developer seems to show a lack of information and understanding of general RTS concepts when people are talking about certain terms such as Q or attack move or whatnot, that the developer probably lacks overall experience in the genre and might not be able to deliver a good game. I'm not saying that is accurate or not, but that is definitely a point worth understanding in that this game has been unfinished for a long time now and it still looks pretty much the same as it did a year ago. That being said, by itself would not really be a concern for me. But the fact that he's already starting, and I think it's a solo developer from what I've read, but he's already starting Mercenaries of the Kingdom First Blood as a new project. And this one is definitely unfinished. It's still fun to a degree, but it's not $20 price tag fun. We can see here, if we take a look at this section, that's what I want to point out to you. Infected have lots of health, best melee units, corrosive ability, parasite, meaning that when they kill a human unit, the human will come back from the dead and join the infected. Then you have survivors, which are basically like your hillbillies. Maybe hillbillies is the wrong word, but they do have asylums and prisons as their unit producing structures. So there's tons of content there, but the core gameplay needs more work. We have lots of different game modes. Arm wrestling is kind of like pushing an object from one area to another. tug of war, essentially, except more like push of war. Escort or stop the payload, which is a one-directional thing. Defend or attack supplies, which is kind of like control points, where you stand in an area and get rewarded for it as far as victory points. These points don't actually get you supplies. It doesn't give you more fuel or anything like that. They're just victory points that you can do for here. It's cool that you can change all these settings. That's cool. We have tons of maps. There's swamp, wooded mountain, peaceful neighborhood, highway, stadium, frozen lake. I mean, there's so much here. Let's take a look at the campaign now. There's only 2 campaign maps. The river looks cool, but I will say that unless you're a military force or infected, you'll probably hate your life. The reason for this is both sides will inevitably stand guard on each side of the river, not because of any AI, but because they're basically just going to be staring each other off on a balanced map. Like, you notice 5 is 4 squares away, 7 is 4 squares away. It is balanced in that aspect. But that will mean that every side is just standing facing each other on the bridge, not willing to attack. So you're going to have to find an opening as a human player and then go through, we'll say, 4 to 8 battles a turn. Okay? Just to get across. So by the time you start here, by the time you maybe are here or here, you will have gone through something like 16 battles. Each battle lasting maybe 10 minutes, 40 minutes. Additionally, if you were to be a defending force on the real-time strategy portion, so we're going to go and start on Grassland. I'll talk more about it. And you can select other stuff. I guess I can be infected and still be on the ally or Alliance 1. We're going to go in Survivors just because I haven't shown them off yet. But infected and military force, they have a teleporting ability that you can use that would probably help you with the river. Let's go and start the Grasslands. Again, the campaign map, I like the idea. I was probably one of the few players who enjoyed the campaign map of Soulstorm. I didn't really like all the repeated battles that were exactly the same every time. That was not something I was a fan of. I like the strategic layer in Soulstorm.
Lead me.
3 movement points. Every kind of army that you can produce has 3 movement points, even if it's Air Force or whatever. That's weak. However, that being said, the different kinds of armies you have are really just specializations. For example, if we were to have close combat army, they can build everything. They can build tanks. It's just that they may have a 10% reduction in speed, but they are specialized in close combat attacks. So it's more like a bonus to what you've asked for and a penalty to everything else that you didn't ask for. So everything has a movement of 3. There's no making faster units or slower or stronger units. There's none of that on this field. I think that is not the way to go, because essentially with everything being a balanced army, it almost doesn't matter what's happening here. Secondly, you see that I have 3 movement points. If I click here, nothing happens. You have to, for every unit you have, move one at a time.
Loud and clear. Confirmed. What's the absolute proceeding? It absolute your command. Right away.
Now, a campaign map,
very well.
We'll say could easily 100 turns. If you start the game with 7 dudes, 7 times 3, that's 21. That means that you're going to have 2,100 clicks just to move your starting units.
What's going on? As you wish. It will be as you say. You need as you wish. Okay.
Clicking on hexes, as you can see there, is just a little bit funky. So the way the game allows you to select either the hex or the unit. If I want to select the unit, I do have to click close enough. So that is the hex.
Ready.
That is the unit. Hex,
Ready,
unit,
Commander.
hex. I can construct a building there. I can construct, say, an airport at the cost of 60 gold. In the apocalypse, everything is, I guess, weighed by gold. One of the good aspects of a survivor play style, I guess, is that you can build prisons and get more gold per turn. But you cannot paratroop into enemy territory, so you have to walk there.
Understood. Very well. It will be moving.
You'll notice that the hexes I'm walking on turn blue. I get these resources. It's not accumulated resources, it's basically a cap. Gold is accumulated. So for example, with population, until I reach enough population count, I will never be able to increase this number. Until I reach enough concrete count, I will not be able to increase my building number and so forth. Let's go in turn, which is right here. Fast execution being how fast the animation is. We can see some, we can hear something going on. This is the AI paratrooping over here, actually. The infected version is called Dirt Eater. Dirt Eater is the ability, the Harvesters is the owner of that ability. So the Knights of the Inn move there, and the Bringers of Death move there. So they really wanted these structures. You can see here it gives 3 gold as compared to the floor, which gives 1 gold. What about our allies? Did they do anything? I don't see any abilities that played off on our allies.
I can't.
Your will? Proceeding.
You cannot cross through the tile of your allies, which makes the 1 hex movement even more infuriating. Which is one of the reasons why I said the river looks cool, but you will hate your life if you play as a survivor. So this is how you play this map. And then once you encounter the enemy, you enter the skirmish mode we mentioned earlier. Now there is a cool factor in this, and it is like Age of Wonders. Is that the surrounding units of your target hex participate in the fight. Sounds good. What's the drawback? What short sight is there? Well, the fact that defeated units in that battle, it doesn't matter if they were defeated. Only the target enemy dies. Here, let me try an example. Let's say that this airplane, against all odds, defeats attacks this unit and defeats both of them in combat. Only this one will die. This may not sound bad, but again, in the river, you're gonna have something like 4 enemy squads. So when you attack the first one, you're gonna have to go 1 versus 4. You're gonna win that, and then you're not gonna be rewarded for it. You're gonna have to go, okay, now I'm gonna have to do 1 versus 2 or 1 versus 3 or whatever's next. And it's just a humongous slog. There is no reward for killing them in battle. I think and since supremacy is based on you killing all of the enemy units, not just the target. Like in the skirmish mode, there's no victory condition that says kill player number 3. No, you kill all of them. It's dumb. The game can still be fun. It's just there are so many drawbacks that are keeping this game from being great.
Lead me. Yes, command.
And these mistakes are,
It will be done.
I don't know. These are mistakes that are so easily fixable, but have never been fixed. And while the game's been in development, and it hurts to see. The enemy has destroyed my prison by using one of their abilities. Abilities cost gold, so it's not like their acid bomb was free. But I lost my prison, and it's only been like 1 turn since I had the prison. What you'll probably hope to do is keep all your units close together and win battles by auto-resolving, which is instant, thankfully. However, what's the short side of this? The short side is the default is defeat. Oh, before I go into that, let me point out another awful thing. Even if you are the defending player, if time runs out, you are defeated. That's ridiculous. They're attacking you. If you hold out to the end of time, that should count as a win. But whatever, game.
Ready for action.
All right, so if we go here, we will not have this guy to be able to support the battle, because when you try to attack a target, it'll highlight all the involved spaces. This hex here is reserved for him to retreat or to keep people from just lining up their troops. We are still 2 versus 1, so the outcome will be automatic victory. Because that's what you'd want to achieve as a player, is to group your guys together so you can do that. It's not that easy though. Because the enemy will be doing some like retreat there and be moving you out of position, and then they'll just be swarming you.
Okay.
The computer can do this forever. Your patience and free time cannot. You can spawn infinite numbers of units as long as you're below cap. Right now I have 4 extra guys. Let's say there's a small army of enemies here. I have 4 extra space for units. I could I would need to spend the gold for it, but I could just recruit a guy at any point, say pyromaniacs, whatever, and just move them.
Awaiting land. Confirmed. Very well.
I don't really, I don't know how I feel about them not being able to move when spawned. Some games make you not be able to move when you create a unit. Some games are okay with it. It's fine. That's not my issue. The issue is when you're trying to attack an enemy, they're spawning infinitely. They may run out of money, but man, it does not feel like you're getting anywhere. Oh, and this right here is a side mission. Side missions don't have any relevance to the campaign map. It's basically a bonus skirmish that you can enter, and you get paid in gold if you win. You lose half the victory amount if you fail the side mission. So if the side mission was going to pay you 70 gold, if you fail, you will lose 35 gold. That's to hypothetically pay for the recovering your army costs. If you wanted to, you could trade at a moment's notice with your allies. So let's go to headquarters, territory exchange, and the selection process is so ridiculous. Okay, so let's say I select one of my tiles. I have to click on my tile and separately click on this. Yeah, and then I have to select an allied tile and then separately click on this. Ridiculous. Why? Why is it like that? Then we can exchange. I can exchange my worthless grass tiles for their more valuable metropolis tiles, and the AI is willing to do that. They're willing to help you out so that you can win the game. That is good. The bad part is, how many hexes are there? That's an obscene amount to try to navigate. I have 50 hexes and I haven't really been playing seriously, moving around my guys efficiently. Probably haven't even been moving my guys every turn. Can you imagine trying to trade 10 squares, how long that would be? Strategic actions are the things that the enemy did to us, like acid bomb or dirt eater over here. We can do certain things such as spirit of survival. This applies to the hex, not to the unit. I don't know about the exact ramifications, but I don't believe you can do time to armor, which is armor 30%, and spirit of survival 30% health, and the same tile. You got to pick one, and then you have a cooldown. Let's go ahead and pick one. Let's decide. I've decided to do that. Okay. Apparently this one's the opposite order. Is it? Okay, I don't know. Let's try. Let's refresh it. Click this for. Okay, it wasn't. Maybe it was that I had the unit selected. Anyways, it's still a ridiculous concept. Just let me pick Spirit of Survival. Bam. Spirit of Survival. Bam. Not this. This. Get rid of it. Just let me do the action. Well, now I can't armor that square or hex. Burn tires. I have no idea what this does. Smoke bombs, a trick widely used in developing countries to lower visibilities to burn vehicle tiles. So what? It's supposed to remove enemy vision? I'll tell you right now that in the current version of the game, the enemy does not care about fog of war. I might not be able to see what the enemy has constructed, but the enemy, he knew where my prison was, and he bombed it with perfect precision. Like, they see everything. There's no need for fog of war debilitating effects. At least not right now. This is one of the enemy construction buildings, like my prison. This is a enemy viral pit, which allows them to, I guess, drop bombs. So we can just destroy it by walking over it.
As you wish, loud and clear.
And we have here an enemy that, if we were to attack him, he could just retreat one tile, and then he'd be grouped up with this squad.
What's the plan? Okay.
So if I wanted to actually kill him, let's go ahead and I can just select this unit. There, I wasn't able to select it because this shield had a larger hitbox than it looks.
Right away. Certainly. Confirmed.
So this will make him retreat, and I'm okay with that.
Confirmed. I'm here to.
But now we pushed him. It's going to be a 2, my guys, right? My teammates here and my guys here, versus 1. Remember that this guy is not supporting him because I managed to put him where his back is to his teammate. So if I had chased him, then yes, he would be supported by his teammate. Actually, it's 3. I didn't even see this guy in the woods.
It will be done.
And that's the strategic layer. Of course, I could resolve everything by manually entering battle. So if you were to go, say, 2 versus 3, the AI would deem your automatic resolution to be defeat. But you might be able to cinch a win by fighting it manually. The enemy is perfectly happy to attack you and take victories one-on-one, but when you do one-on-one, it's always going to be automatic resolution defeat. I feel like that's not fair. The game should respect the player's time, and it does not do that in the slightest. In this case, my ally is trying to attack this zombie. The attacker is Dogs of War, that's a human faction. Defenders, the Bringers of Death, that is an Undead faction. They have a star bonus here. It's probably from their headquarters. Unfortunately, hovering the mouse over the star or clicking on the star does nothing. But I can tell you something like a health bonus. So we'll automatically resolve this in our favor. We didn't get to do anything for this combat because we were not involved in that combat, but we were involved in this one, so we get to decide. Remember how I talked about how you might not always have a presence on the battlefield? Well, if I were to say I constructed on this tile an airport. When they fight units in the headquarters are the range of 2.3, but I have tried a battle on each hex, and it only seems to be a practical range of 2 hexes. Anything in that range, if I don't have a army next to it, I can support it with, well, the air support. A television station allows me to participate in battles in vicinity as my technical support there. There's a lot of cool stuff. It's just, there are things that are absolutely holding it back, and I wish the developer would be more expedient about accepting feedback, listening to it, and implementing that feedback. If he could do that, this game would be a rock solid hit. So that is the strategic layer, and I hope I managed to explain everything. Is it something I would recommend? Not at its current price tag of $20. It is on sale for $15 right now until October 18th. So that's 6 days away from the time of this recording. It'll probably take me a day turnaround to finish editing this episode. And I expect this video will be out by Friday. I would say if it goes up to about $8, sure. Or if he starts fixing some of the issues I've mentioned. I mean, I'm not trying to sound like some sort of high and mighty person, but there's definite things that a RTS player would expect. Even the original Warcraft had these things, and I know that was not necessarily the first RTS, like Dune and stuff like that. I get it. But we'll say that it was a heavily mainstream and influential title. That would be an absolute mistake to not learn from this far ahead in the future. Alright, I believe I've given you a good overview about Age of Undead, about its promising aspects and its unfortunate drawbacks. $8 might sound like a very steep price drop or price ask, but this is assuming that the game does not see any further substantial development. Yes, someone could always release a patch 3 years from now adding pride flags or fixing spellings or spawn bugs, like I'll show you right here. But that doesn't mean that the title will drastically change to reflect accurate marketplace prices. I don't really expect to be fixed anytime soon. If I spawn a literal militia unit, it bugs the game. How do I know this bugged the game? Well, this is,
Something on your mind?
while I can control it, you see no movement over it, and you think, well, that's just silly. You have moved. No, it bugs the game. Let me try ending my turn. Ready?
I need a medic.
We're gonna automatically resolve anything because we're gonna wait for the conclusion of the turn.
I'm hit. Mayday.
All right, the enemy has finished moving. Nothing else is happening on the map. Also, when I stood on this hex, it didn't take it over. The game does not necessarily wholly recognize this as my unit, I think.
As you wish. Copy that.
So I can't end the turn anymore. Yeah, he got his movement back. It's probably, again, the game thinks of it as being somebody else's unit or something. I don't quite understand how it's messed up. But I will say that I did enjoy my time with Age of Undead. I've played a long time in the campaign, and I've actually almost won it. I wanted to win a campaign before I did my video on this, just so that I would be an informed player and give you the best bits of information. I ended up stopping playing because I ran into this critical bug. I won the battle, but I couldn't end my turn anymore. So I don't know. I couldn't even load other saves properly. They were all defaulting to a broken save. So the remainder of this episode will be me just doing a real quick campaign on all default settings and then one skirmish. Thank you very much for watching Tran Plays Age of Undead. I'll see you next time.
Yes. As you wish. Let's go. Copy that. Yeah. Heading out. Roger. Sir, yes, sir. Ready. Copy that. Yeah. Immediately. Heading out. Yes. Of course. Roger that. Yes, sir. Here I am. Copy that. Right away, sir. Sir, yes, sir. Yes. Move. Roger. Sir, yes, sir.
Report orders. Sir, yes, sir. Roger. Get in position.
Give me a target. Roger. Sir, yes, sir. Heading out. Yes. Immediately. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Standing by. Copy that. Clear. Go, go, go!
What do you need? On the move. Move! Okay. Where to? No problem. 10-4. Agreed. Orders, sir? Immediately. Affirmative. Let's go. Yeah. Join the arm. 10-4. Immediately. Orders? Roger. 10-4. Yes, sir. Yeah. Ready. Right away. Right away, sir. Affirmative. Ready. No problem. Immediately. No problem.
Reporting. Roger that. This way. Order received.
Orders, sir? Affirmative. 10-4. Heading out. Orders, move! As you wish. Okay. Awaiting. Go, go! Agreed. Affirmative. Standing by. Affirmative. On the move. Sir, yes. Affirmative. What do you need? Copy that. Let's go. Sir, yes, sir. Join the army, they said. It'll be fun, they said.
Reporting. This way. Affirmative. In position. Orders? This way. This way. This way.
Ugh. Ugh.
Report. Affirmative. No problem. In position.
Give me a target. On the move. Go, go, go. Sir, yes, sir. Ready? Yes, sir. Roger that. On the move. Standing by. Of course. Copy that. Roger.
Reporting. Perfect. Get in position. Clear.
Ready. Affirmative. 10-4. 10-4. What's the plan? Reporting. Immediately. Kill it with fire.
Orders. No problem. No problem. Roger.
Reporting for duty. Give me a target. Standing by. Right away, sir. Roger. Join the army, they said. It'll be fun, they said. Standing by. Okay. Roger. Okay.
Orders? Order received. Roger that. Immediately.
I'm hit. Ready for action. 10-4. Standing by. Agreed. Ready. 10-4. Ready, heading out. As you went, ready. Ready for affirmative. Agreed. Give me a... Yes, sir. Affirmative. What's heading out? Awaiting orders. Let's go. What's the plan? Agreed. Ready and waiting. 10-4. Ready. Right away, sir. Ready for Roger that.
Reporting. Understood. Yes, sir. Reporting. Sir.
Orders, sir. Right away, sir. Yes, sir. Reporting. Ready.